Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that despite working for 20 years, despite earning promotions, despite sacrificing weekends, despite doing everything society told you to do, you're actually no closer to financial freedom than you were on your very first day at work. It sounds impossible, yet this is the reality for millions of middle-class families around the world. They don't become poor overnight. They don't suddenly lose everything. Instead, they slowly drift into a financial trap so invisible that most of them never even realize it's happening. Every raise feels like progress. Every new purchase feels like success. Every promotion feels like another step toward a better life. But then something strange happens. The bank account never seems to grow. Debt quietly increases, bills become larger, stress becomes normal. And before they know it, they're trapped in a cycle where missing just one paycheck could turn their entire life upside down. The most shocking part isn't that this happens. The most shocking part is that it's exactly how the system was designed to work. Today, we're going to uncover why the middle class stays poor without realizing it, why working harder is no longer enough, and what the wealthy understand that almost nobody else does. By the end of this video, you may completely change the way you think about money forever. From the moment we're children, we're given a simple blueprint for success. Study hard, get good grades, graduate from college, find a stable job, work hard, save your money, buy a house, and one day you'll retire comfortably. It's advice repeated by parents, teachers, and even governments. For previous generations, this formula often worked because the economy was different. A single income could buy a house, support a family, and still leave enough money to save for retirement. But over the last few decades, the world has changed dramatically. Housing prices have increased much faster than salaries. Healthcare costs continue to rise every year. Education has become more expensive than ever before. Even basic groceries cost significantly more than they did only a few years ago. Yet, despite all these changes, millions of people are still following the exact same financial blueprint, wondering why they never seem to get ahead. The biggest misunderstanding starts with one dangerous belief. Earning more money will solve every financial problem. Think about it. Almost everyone has said, if I could just make another $20,000 a year, everything would be easier. It sounds logical, but statistics show that many people continue living paycheck to paycheck even after their income doubles. Why? Because income alone doesn't create wealth. Wealth is created by what you do after the paycheck arrives. Imagine pouring water into a bucket with holes in the bottom. You can pour faster and faster, but if the holes keep getting bigger, the bucket never fills up. That's exactly how millions of middle-class families manage their money. As income increases, expenses increase even faster. This is known as lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the most powerful wealth destroyers in modern society. Imagine receiving the biggest raise of your career. At first, you're excited. You promise yourself you'll finally start saving and investing. But within weeks, your thinking begins to change. The apartment that once felt perfect suddenly feels too small. Your reliable car suddenly seems outdated. Your phone doesn't look impressive anymore. You tell yourself you've earned something better. A nicer apartment, a newer SUV, premium subscriptions, more expensive restaurants, better vacations. Individually, none of these purchases seem irresponsible. In fact, they feel like rewards for your hard work. But together, they quietly consume every extra dollar you earn. Suddenly, your bigger salary hasn't made you wealthier. It has simply made your lifestyle more expensive. Companies understand this psychology better than most people understand themselves. Every advertisement is carefully designed to convince you that happiness is only one purchase away. Car companies don't just sell transportation, they sell status. Luxury brands don't sell clothing, they sell identity. Smartphone companies don't sell technology, they sell the fear of being left behind. Every day, you're exposed to thousands of marketing messages encouraging you to spend money before you've had the chance to build wealth. Consumer spending keeps the economy moving, but it also keeps millions of people trapped in an endless cycle of earning, spending, and repeating the process month after month. Then, social media enters the picture and makes everything even worse. Every time you open your phone, you're surrounded by luxury vacations, expensive watches, designer handbags, beautiful homes, and luxury cars. What you don't see are the loans, the credit card balances, the financial stress, or the sleepless nights worrying about bills. Social media has convinced an entire generation to compare their real financial lives with someone else's carefully edited highlight reel. People begin chasing appearances instead of financial security. money they haven't earned to impress people they don't even know. Looking rich has become easier than ever. Then there are two people. Let's call them John and David. They graduate from college in the same year, land similar jobs, earn almost identical salaries, and start their careers with the same dreams. During the first few years, there is almost no difference between them. They both work hard, receive promotions, and slowly increase their income. But every time John gets a raise, he celebrates by upgrading his lifestyle. He finances a new SUV because he believes he deserves it after years of hard work. A year later, he upgrades to a bigger house because the bank tells him he qualifies for a larger mortgage. Then come the designer furniture, the latest smartphone every year, luxury vacations, premium subscriptions, and expensive weekends. None of these decisions seem disastrous on their own. In fact, everyone around him congratulates him. Friends admire his success. Family members tell him he's doing well in life. From the outside, John looks wealthy, but behind the scenes, almost every dollar he earns has already been promised to someone else. The bank owns part of his house. The finance company owns his car. Credit card companies collect interest every month. His lifestyle depends entirely on the next paycheck arriving on time. Missing just one or two paychecks would create a financial crisis. David receives the same promotions and the same salary increases, but he responds very differently. Instead of asking, "What can I buy now?" he asks, "What can I own that will make me wealthier in the future?" Before upgrading his lifestyle, he builds an emergency fund that can cover several months of living expenses. He pays off high-interest debt as quickly as possible. Every month, he automatically invests part of his income into diversified, long-term investments. He doesn't try to predict the market. He doesn't chase quick riches. He simply stays consistent. His lifestyle improves over time, but much more slowly than his income. To many people, David appears ordinary. He isn't trying to impress anyone. He drives a reliable car, avoids unnecessary debt, and spends carefully. But what nobody notices is that while John is buying liabilities, David is quietly buying assets. This is one of the biggest differences between the middle class and the wealthy. The middle class often spends money to look successful. Wealthy people spend money to become successful. They understand that there is a huge difference between owning things that cost money and owning things that produce money. A luxury car usually loses value every year while continuing to cost money for insurance, fuel, maintenance, and loan payments. A productive investment, on the other hand, has the potential to grow in value and generate income over time. One removes money from your pocket every month. The other has the potential to put money back into your pocket. Yet society constantly encourages people to buy liabilities while calling them assets. Now imagine that 10 years pass. John's social media still looks incredible. Every holiday is filled with beautiful photos. His driveway has impressive vehicles. His house is larger than ever. To everyone watching from the outside, he appears to have achieved the American dream. But privately, he's becoming more stressed every year. Rising interest rates increase his payments. Inflation makes everyday expenses more expensive. Unexpected repairs create financial emergencies because most of his income is already committed. He earns more than ever before, yet he has less financial freedom than he imagined. David's life tells a completely different story. His investments have quietly grown year after year. Some now produce income without requiring him to work extra hours. Compound growth has started doing what it does best, turning patience into wealth. His money is slowly beginning to work for him instead of the other way around. The saddest part is that John never made one catastrophic financial mistake. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't irresponsible. He simply made hundreds of small decisions that almost everyone around him considered normal. One monthly payment here, one upgrade there, one financing plan after another. Individually, they seemed harmless. Together, they quietly stole years of financial progress. And this is exactly why so many hardworking, middle-class families remain trapped. The problem isn't usually a lack of effort. The problem is that they're climbing the wrong ladder. They work harder every year, but their money never gets the opportunity to grow on its own. The truly wealthy understand something that changes everything. Financial freedom isn't created by earning more. It is created by keeping more, investing wisely, and giving time the chance to multiply your wealth. The truth is, escaping the middle-class trap doesn't require winning the lottery, starting a billion-dollar company, or suddenly earning six figures overnight. It begins with changing the way you think about money. The wealthy don't see money as something to spend. They see it as something to deploy. Every dollar becomes an employee with a specific job. Some dollars are assigned to protect the future by sitting in an emergency fund. Others are sent out to work through investments, businesses, or assets that have the potential to grow over time. The goal isn't simply to collect more money. The goal is to build a financial system where your money continues working even when you're sleeping, spending time with your family, or taking a vacation. That's the difference between financial survival and financial freedom. Another lesson the wealthy understand is the incredible power of time. Most people underestimate what small, consistent investments can become over 10, 20, or 30 years. They wait for the perfect time to invest or believe they need thousands of dollars before getting started. But wealth is rarely built through one massive investment. It's built through discipline, repeated month after month, year after year. Imagine planting a single seed. During the first few years, it barely changes. It looks insignificant. Many people would dig it up because they think nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, the roots are growing stronger every day. Eventually, that tiny seed becomes a tree, producing fruit season after season. Investing works exactly the same way. At first, progress feels slow. Then, one day your investments begin earning returns, and those returns begin earning their own returns. This is the power of compound growth, and it's one of the greatest financial advantages anyone can have. Financial education is another reason the gap between the middle class and the wealthy continues to grow. Schools teach us how to solve equations, memorize historical dates, and pass exams. But very few teach us how taxes work, how inflation silently reduces purchasing power, how investing builds wealth, or how debt can either become a useful tool or a lifelong burden. As adults, most people spend thousands of hours working for money, but almost no time learning how money actually works. Wealthy people understand that the best investment they can ever make is in their own knowledge. They stayed consistent long after everyone else gave up. So before your next paycheck arrives, stop asking, "What can I afford to buy?" Instead, ask yourself, "How can this paycheck buy me more freedom?" That single shift in thinking can completely transform your financial future. The middle class doesn't stay poor because they lack intelligence or ambition. They stay poor because they unknowingly follow a system that rewards spending more than investing. The good news is that once you recognize the trap, you no longer have to live inside it. Every financial decision you make from this moment forward becomes a vote for the future you want. Years from now, you'll either look back and thank yourself for changing your habits today, or you'll wish you had started sooner. The choice isn't determined by your salary. It isn't determined by your background. It's determined by the decisions you make every single month. Remember, money is a wonderful employee, but a terrible master. Learn to make it work for you, and one day you'll wake up to discover that financial freedom isn't a dream. It's simply the result of thousands of smart decisions made consistently over time. And if you found this video valuable, subscribe to Money Sketch, because the next lesson might be the one that completely changes the way you build wealth forever.